everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from chillier than it ought to be, Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
The podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today,
here it comes.
A nasty, nasty video from Brian Fisher. Wasn't it Brian Fisher?
Nope, Rick Wiles.
Oh, Rick Wiles. Oh, that's right. It's Rick Wiles. Got us all pissed off this morning.
Oh, my God. Well, it's not just pissed off.
He says some really nasty shit about Jewish people.
Well, it's like
he just.
What scares me is that what happens basically, and we'll play the video for you. We'll play the audio for you coming up.
Yeah.
But what happens is he uses his out loud voice.
Yeah.
And so the fact is that they're starting to just say it all out loud instead of keeping it on the inside.
Yeah, it's really quite terrifying. It actually is terrifying stuff.
It's very scary. It's scary that he feels okay to do this.
Well, and
it's not just the Jewish thing too. It's the we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm not going. You have to tune into the end to hear that,
my
listener.
God. Not going to get it for free.
That's right. Well, you are going to get it for free. But you have to wait all the way to the end. Listen to the rest of this shit first.
Well, Dan.
What?
I'm just gonna dig in. Damn.
Dig away.
Dig in. There is an American pastor from New Jersey by the name of Robert Baldwin.
Okay.
Who has been
the worst of the Baldwin brothers.
If he is
no,
Baldwin,
Stephen's always
he
the worst.
But Bob Baldwin, not so good. Have you ever heard of MMS or Miracle Mineral Solution?
Oh, God.
You ever heard of this?
No.
I think you might have heard about what it actually is, which is it's a diluted bleach drink.
Right, yes. Okay. I've heard of people using bleach as a miracle cure.
Yeah. The people who believe in this shit think that it can cure cancer, HIV, AIDS, malaria, and just about really anything.
There are some things that it can cure. Mm-hmm. It can cure stains on your shirts, and it can cure health.
Life, yeah.
If you are in a state of health, drink enough bleach, and I promise you that will go away.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Apparently he has taken this cure to Uganda, where people believe that about 50,000 Ugandans have been subjected to this miracle cure.
Yeah.
He's been training. Sounds more official than it is.
It sounds more official than duping.
Yeah. He's trained about 1,200 clerics to on the various techniques and how to properly slowly poison people to death.
Right.
And then they've sort of where they're coming up with this 50,000 number is they think that there's probably about 50-ish congregants that each cleric would probably be able to reach, who would actually end up doing it. As a way to motivate these clerics, Baldwin is actually offering smartphones.
Okay.
Who are especially committed to spreading the bleach cure.
That's the Ugandan version of a pink Cadillac.
Yeah. So it's kind of an interesting little thing. The Guardian has gained access to a telephone conversation between a campaigner by the name of Fiona O'Leary, who works against quack medicine.
Right.
She recorded the conversation that she had with Baldwin.
Okay.
And they've listened to it and they verified that it's for real. And so we have some quotes that he probably wouldn't have given the Guardian.
Right.
He says, we don't want to draw any attention. When you draw attention to MMS, you run the risk of getting in trouble with the government or drug companies.
Yes, because you're feeding people bleach.
Yeah. You have to do it. You have to do it low key.
Yeah.
That's why I set it up through the church.
Of course it is.
Right.
Interesting.
Isn't that disgusting? He says America and Europe have much stricter laws, so you're not as free to treat people because it is so controlled by the FDA. That's why I work in developing countries. Those people in poor countries, they don't have the options that we have in the richer countries. They're much more open to receiving the blessings that God has given them.
Meaning they are credulous and they lack access to real medicine and will do anything.
Yeah.
To try. Yeah. I mean, when you don't have access to real medicine and you're desperate,
yeah,
I can trick you into almost anything.
Absolutely. Especially if you're working through the church.
Yeah.
Right?
Jesus told me that you should drink this bleach.
So you hear about this and it's initially disturbing and appalling. And then you get this little detail. Apparently he was asked about babies and children. Mm-hmm. And he says, well, we reduced the dose in half. Essentially is his reaction. Little tiny infants can take a small amount. They will spit it out. It causes no harm. They just get diarrhea.
Oh, it causes no harm.
They just get diarrhea. Yeah.
That's
so
it's just it's just delightful that he's like totally on board with giving infants diarrhea. There you go.
Yeah, well, they're curing these infants of whatever.
Infant born. Man, exploitation is where it's at. I need to get on the exploitation train because, man, there's money to be made. Exploiting
that. That's if you don't want to just exploit.
Well, no, I mean, not for exploitation's sake.
No.
You got to make that cash. You got to make that sweet, sweet money. Now, if you're going to go exploitation style, it's got to be a volume biz.
Yeah.
Because you can't charge a lot to Ugandans.
No. So, yeah, that thing has to scale up.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever your thing is, has to scale nicely.
Yeah. Go multi-level on that bad boy. Give him a phone and then call it and then watch the dollars roll in. Oh, Lordy
that's
Jesus.
Disgusting, Dan.
I didn't do it yet. I'm just looking into it. It just seems like a good racket.
That's a growth industry.
It is a growth industry.
Exploitation.
Yeah, I like it. Don't drink bleach, kids.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on.
Terrible idea.
To an update. You remember we talked about a woman named McKenna Denson who filed a lawsuit against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, because she was, as she alleges, raped by attempted raped,
right,
by a representative of their church, the leader of their missionary training center when she was there in Provo, Utah, to train to be a missionary, and he took her into the
rape room.
Into the rape room.
Yeah.
Into the basement room. Why does this have a bed? Oh, interesting. Okay. Anyway, and then she confronted him very, very boldly in a church service and got a lot of press for that. Apparently, that has not gone too well for her. She claims she has now been attacked physically a number of times.
Jesus.
She claims that someone broke into her house and put Drano in her orange juice.
What?
Which she had to then go to the hospital because she drank some of it.
Holy shit.
She claims that that her car was burned, was torched in her driveway.
What?
And that she was actually jumped and assaulted, physically assaulted, for which she needed medical attention.
Fucking Danites.
Well, that's the thing. It seems very unlikely to me that this is actually coordinated by the church themselves, because you and I both know the Mormon Church pretty well, and they're not like that anymore.
Right.
Your Danites reference, go ahead and Google that, kids, if you want to. They used to be like that.
Yeah.
Back in the Missouri days.
Oh yeah,
they were
early Utah territory.
And early Utah territory.
Yeah.
They were going out killing motherfuckers. But They've outgrown that. That's
But this is members clearly taking things into their own hands.
yeah, probably.
Holy
it's
fuck!
hard.
Who are these fuckers?
Yeah. Well, you know,
Who does that? Who listens to Christ's message and then does that? Oh wait, people who listen to Christ's message.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about Christ's message, but I have read a bunch of shit in the Bible, and
yeah.
it's pretty violent. Book of Mormon too.
Book of Mormon is super violent.
So there you go. Lots of violence. You can't expect people to read those books and then go, "Oh yeah, peace." That's the answer. Is you've got 1,000 verses saying go out and murder people, and then one verse where Jesus says turn the other cheek. What are people going to actually do?
Yeah,
especially humans. I don't know if you know this. Humans, they're kind of violent critters.
Absolutely.
Just frequently.
Absolutely. And I mean, Drano in your orange juice, that's attempted murder.
Yeah, that's really...
Because, like, that totally fucking could kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not good for you.
My God. Isn't that actually
if they had
how
put
you make
bleach...
napalm?
I don't... Oh. There is a thing about that, isn't there?
I think it's in a movie. I don't know that it's actually for real. But, like...
Anyway.
That is a line from... I don't know if it's Drano and
orange juice?
But it's orange juice and something.
And some caustic household material. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. See, if they had just put bleach in there, they would have cured her of stuff.
They didn't want to cure her of anything.
No,
Dan.
no, they didn't.
They were clearly trying to cause harm.
Yes, they were.
All right. Dan.
Yes?
We're heading over to Columbia County, Georgia.
Okay.
Where there's a high school, Grovetown High School, that had a student in their yearbook pick a little quote. You know this tradition, Dan, in the yearbook, where like the seniors will get to like say they have like a quote underneath their picture, right?
Sure.
Something cutesy, something funny.
Yeah,
something
usually
inspiring.
So the dopey
whatever.
ones try to do some funny joke.
Yeah. Right. Well, one of the students at Grovetown High School,
Yeah.
he put for his quote the following.
Okay.
I don't know why people think Jesus Christ is coming back. He wasn't nailed to a boomerang.
Oh, so droll.
Fun. Oh, you
Well,
clever.
so it's a little bit of a dumb joke, but it's cute.
It's cute.
Whatever.
It's funny.
But it also obviously not going to be okay to some people.
Yeah, very, very, very offensive to the sensitive nature of so many Christians out there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so the whole thing has gone viral. And a friend of his, sort of when asked by the media, says he didn't mean anything by it, I'm sure. He wasn't targeting religious people because he is religious, right? He's just making a fucking joke.
Is he religious?
That is not confirmed.
Okay.
But she's trying to defend him, whatever, right?
Sure.
However, this is causing quite the little ruckus in Columbia County, where the district principals are going to be all called together to discuss challenges that obviously giving the students an opportunity, an open forum where it would be difficult to limit their speech.
Yeah.
And what exactly to do about this tradition of letting them say whatever they want to say in the yearbook and have it be printed.
It only takes one guy to ruin it for everybody.
And I believe that guy's name is... Oh, they actually have withheld his name.
Yeah, he's a kid.
That was good. That was smart by somebody. Although I was about to say it.
I was going to say, not you, apparently.
Well, if they printed it, I don't care.
You were like, that guy's name is, and I was like, you don't have to say the name, Frank. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, well, actually, they have the sort of they pulled an image from the book,
right?
The yearbook, and they've blurred out his name, and they've also blurred out his face.
Yeah,
which is
because as we just learned, people get beat up over shit like this.
Yeah,
like it's not without danger.
No, I know. So my guess is the Board of Education is going to say, let's just nix this whole quote thing.
Yeah.
So we can't tell them that they can't say certain things. We can say that you can't use profane language or
swear words,
sexual references.
Right,
and,
yeah.
No,
Which they will try to sneak in. I mean,
they'll sneak
fucking
in.
Brett Kavanaugh had all these disgusting references snuck in about what he claims are not are like drinking games or whatever. No, we all know what a devil's triangle is.
Right,
you perv. Just cop to it. Oh my God, that man is on our Supreme Court.
Yeah,
currently.
So didn't hold him back. I'm sure it's not going to hold this kid back.
No.
Future Supreme Court justice.
That's right. Okay, so I am in Cairo, which is in Egypt, I do believe. If my geography is not mistaken. That Cairo, though, not like Cairo, Ohio, or whatever.
Is there a Cairo, Ohio?
No idea.
New Cairo?
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, there's a university called American University in Cairo.
Oh.
And American University in Cairo actually used to be sort of ranked as one of the top 250 universities in the world.
Really?
Yeah, a very prestigious institution. No longer ranked that way. And and I've got a story that may point to one of the reasons why, or rather, may point to a sort of thing that's symptomatic of what's happening there.
All right.
And that story is about a professor there named Duker, Adam Duker, who held the Abdullah H. Taher Chair of Comparative Religions at the school. Oh. This was an endowment by Mr. Taher that was given so that to inspire peace among the religions by study of comparative religion.
Okay.
Makes sense to me. Great. All things are good.
Sure.
Then Mr. Duker, Professor Duker, got a call to go and meet with the son of the namesake of the chair that he holds, the title that he holds, in Los Angeles or in California somewhere. He went and met with him, and this guy said, "Hey, it's great that you've got this position. You need to advance Islam over all the other religions."
Okay.
And when he said, "No, I don't think you're gonna. I don't think so. I don't think that's how this works. This is academia. You don't get to dictate what I put in." He said he also apparently insisted on seeing and approving all of his lectures.
Oh my!
Sent people to harass him. He took his class on a field trip to a bunch of different religious sites. So like a mosque and a Jewish synagogue and all these things.
Yeah.
And when they got to the synagogue, now most of these students are Muslim. It's a Muslim country. So when they got to the synagogue, a bunch of armed like guards or police showed up and started yelling at them and told them that they had to leave and or took him in for questioning.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So yeah, there were apparently government officials, but armed with assault rifles.
Yeah. So yes, none of this makes for a good open university setting.
No, it doesn't feel like liberal arts education, does it?
It's really the intellectual freedom that one would expect.
Right. Well, Egypt
setting.
is an increasingly Muslim country. Like
God.
They're tightening up. It's becoming very Taliban-y over there.
How terrifying.
Yeah, it's not good.
How terrifying for the residents there.
Yeah.
I just saw a thing about some atheist blogger or whatever from Egypt that just escaped.
Yeah.
And it's just like, my God.
Yeah, things are getting hairy in a lot of parts of this world.
including parts of this country.
Yes, indeed. We'll talk about that later.
Not that bad, but
yeah, Duker, who apparently says that he's of Jewish descent but is a Christian, at one point, apparently, when he was dealing with the university, a university secretary called him a kike, which is a slur for Jewish people.
Yeah.
After discovering that he had asked a student to translate his request to to the custodial staff to help him box up his books.
Wow.
So yeah, things are going well in academia.
Yeah. So American University. How does one sign up to be a student there? Do you have a?
I think you just face
URL?
Mecca and
or pray 5 times a day. You're good.
write an essay.
Yeah. Oh my God.
In Arabic.
All right, Dan.
Yes.
So we've talked about something on the show a number of times, which is this thing that's happened in a few European countries where they've decided to ban the slaughter techniques associated with like kosher and halal meat.
Right.
Essentially,
because they see it as an inhumane slaughtering technique.
Exactly, because in Europe the standard is to stun the animal first and then to kill the animal.
Right.
With this idea that the animal suffers less.
Right.
This way, and does seem like if you are going to eat the meat of the animal, maybe let it
minimize its
suffering. Yeah. And that is not the technique at all with kosher and halal, where the requirement is the animal be conscious at the time of being,
what a
being
very
killed.
Useful thing. Thank you, God, for giving us this law that makes sure that the animal sees the knife that's going to kill it.
And then feels it.
And feels it, yeah.
And
because
then the blood drains out of it.
Yeah, because it's like you
cut
the throat, right?
I believe that's the technique, yeah. So that's all well and good. And I think that I don't know, like I kind of have been like I knew that there was something kind of weird about this for those religious communities. But then I was also kind of just like, well, but like where do you draw these lines? Where do you say we as a general society
aren't okay with it.
Are not okay with this act of cruelty that's so easily preventable. Right.
We have a better technique.
Level. Yeah.
Surely your God will be okay with
with just stunning them.
A quick stun and then
slit their throats and do this all the rest of the shit. And I'm sure there's some prayer and crap and who the fuck knows. So, however, the United States is taking a stand. And our anti-Semitism ambassador by the name of Elon Carr was at a conference.
Wait, the U.S. has an anti-Semitism ambassador?
Mm-hmm.
Is Mr. Carr I'm going to assume, former Nazi? Because judging by how our current administration picks their people, usually it's the person least qualified or who has the most
antagonistic,
antagonistic to it. So I'm going to assume that this is I
don't think that's how this one went down. Actually,
okay.
I think Donald Trump is sort of doubling down on his support of Israel.
Right. There is that
of the Jewish community.
Yeah.
So anyway, Elon Carr went to the Conference of European Rabbis. In the Belgian city of Antwerp.
Yes.
Okay, Belgium being one of these countries that has started to dip their toe into this policy. Flanders, which is where Antwerp is located.
Flanders.
one of the provinces of Belgium.
Yeah.
I believe they're the ones who first banned this practice of execution.
Yeah.
Execution.
Slaughter
Slaughter for the animal. Anyway, but it's predicted that it's going to start to spread into other parts of Belgium as well.
Sure.
Anyway, he says that this is nothing but a forced expulsion of Jewish communities from the countries that adopt such legislation. A forced expulsion, and it is intolerable.
Yeah.
He says, in the midst of it all, we have these disgraceful pieces of legislation that ban shahita. That's, I guess, the Hebrew term that refers to the slaughter of livestock, according to rabbinic law.
Right.
So the United States is not happy that these countries, and there's a growing list of European countries that are banning this practice. But it really does raise a question, which is, and I think that we have a certain sensitivity to, or there are a lot of us who have a certain sensitivity to sort of the idea of pushing the Jewish community around a little too much.
Yeah.
Right? There's a historic problem here.
Yeah.
That it's hard if you get a little too close to it. Right, it feels a little icky, and that while there are a lot of people who feel justified in doing this for the animal cruelty issue,
right,
there are also people who are lining up on the far right, who are just fine with passing these laws as well,
who are doing what this guy's accusing them of.
Antisemitic,
right?
Trying
to make it a hostile environment for them. Frankly, to me, if we're killing these animals anyway, if they're going to be killed anyway, I don't want them to suffer. But I mean, that's space I could carve out for religious practices.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%.
I
don't want them to suffer, but we're talking about 15 seconds worth of extra suffering, for an animal that's already going to be dying. So to me, it's like if we're killing animals for food.
Yeah,
I can give them that much room.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. I think that it is a little ridiculous to go that far, especially given the history that of oppression that both Muslim and Jewish people suffer.
Yeah, in the West.
West.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's. I mean, I know it's that kind of argument that I get it. I see it.
Yeah, and
then there's the flip side. I'm having a hard time figuring out exactly where I land on this.
I'm just saying, you know what? I feel like they're just trying to create vegan Jews. That's what they're trying to do.
No, that actually would be a solution.
There you go.
Boom.
Problem solved.
It's forced vegetarianism or veganism, and I don't know how I feel about that. They might be a little less annoying than regular vegans.
You think? I don't see how that's possible. Okay. All right. Now let's stop
that
beating up on the vegans.
More than anything,
that
one little exchange will elicit more emails than just about anything else we'll say in 6 months' time.
Go ahead and prove us right. That's fine. Anyway, no, we're happy to hear from you. Anyway, I'm going to take us to Canada, where there has been... I'm going to end on what I feel is a high note.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, man, it has been a few weeks of really, really rough news regarding women's rights and their right to deal with their own bodies as they choose and that sort of thing. It has been a tough few weeks. And ladies, we are here with you here at the TGIA.
Yeah.
But there is some good news, not in our country, but in the world.
Okay.
In Ontario, Canada, their highest provincial court has ruled that doctors in the province must give referrals for medical services, even if they clash with their religious beliefs. Now, they are not forced to do the process themselves.
Gotcha.
But if
Okay.
a woman comes to a doctor and says, you know what, I think I want to abort my child, I want to abort this pregnancy, I will change my language.
Yeah.
The doctor is required, if they cannot provide that service, they are required to refer them to someone who can.
Right.
This is something that a small percentage, but a few doctors were really fighting against. They did not want to make that referral. They wanted to, talk them out of it or whatever and tell them all,
Right.
all the things that these doctors do, and that other people do. But nope, they actually have to do it. They are the group of doctors. There's the Christian Medical and Dental Society of Canada and the Canadian Federation of Catholic Physicians, etc., representing apparently about 1,500 of the province's more than 28,000 physicians. Say they're claiming that there's no evidence that patients would be harmed just by them not giving a referral. But nope, the province is saying you got to do it. Just fucking buck up and do it.
Yeah.
You're not doing the thing. You're just telling them where to go to get it done.
Right.
It's not hard. There
Good
you go.
Lord.
So anyway, a little bit of a glimpse of positive news in a world of
Horror.
really disgusting behavior in our country.
Of late.
Shame on everybody.
All right.
Well, if you guys have anything you need to write into us about, please feel free to do so. We'd love to hear from you. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com is the email address.
Or call and leave a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yup. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click on that like button.
And while you're on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we'll let you in.
Yeah, you got the password, which is, please, can I come in?
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Pat is back.
It's a patty break, y'all.
Woohoo! It's a classic. It's a TGIA classic.
Yeah, you know
For
what?
years, it was always Pat Robertson.
We've only been going for 7.5 years or something like
Yeah.
that. Pat Robertson has been going for 135 years now.
Longest running show on television.
His show, The 700 Club, started in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Of a startup show before Interestingly, he started his show before television was invented.
But to packed houses.
But to packed houses, that's right.
It was between vaudeville acts. First, there was the
it was a road show.
There were jugglers who got up first, and then Pat.
Yeah, he would barnstorm the Midwest with his 700 Club.
And then some fast-talking joke tellers.
And then he turned 700 himself, and Philo Farnsworth invented a television. And boom, he was out there saying old guy stuff.
From day one.
Pretty sure he's been old for as long as our country's been around.
Yeah.
And he's got some. Here's the thing: when you're his age, and he is like 90. You've seen the country change, and when you are a conservatively minded person as he is, it's terrifying.
It's really bad.
These changes to our country.
No, it's rough.
And the latest one. The latest one, I don't know if you kids have heard about this one. It's the Equality Act that's attempting to make its way through Congress now.
Yeah, even supporters of it know that it's not going to pass the Senate.
Yeah.
Anyway, it did pass the House, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
All it's doing,
LGBTQ rights guaranteed.
Yeah.
Workplace, housing, and public accommodations.
Right. It just says you can't discriminate against people because they're gay or trans or whatever. That's right. That's basically it.
And it has all the LGBTQ stuff, but then they also clearly say by sex.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's actually this really expansive thing.
But it's just like you can't discriminate in hiring practices. You can't discriminate in housing or whatever.
Right.
It should be such a no-brainer.
Oh, I see where you're going.
It should be so easy to pass this thing.
Right.
And then people like Pat come along and say some shit.
Like this.
Everybody in this audience right now, go to your telephones and jam up those phones up there and let them know that you are opposed to what is called the religious...
Equality Act.
The Equality Act. It's just, of course, it's got a name and all. They always give the good names to these things. This is a devastating blow to religious freedom and to the sanctity of America. If you want to bring the judgment of God on this nation, you just keep this stuff up. You know, I was reading in Leviticus where it said, because of these things, the land will vomit you out. Vomit you out. I think God will say, I've had it with America. If you do this kind of stuff, I'm going to get rid of you as a nation. And, you know, there's plenty of stuff that's going on when you look at the potential of atomic war, when you look at the solar strike, you know, something on our grid there. You can go down the line of devastation that could happen to our nation. We don't want that. We don't want it. We want the blessing of God, not the curse of God. So, again, call your don't let these people get away with this nonsense. This is absolutely an outrageous. It's an attack on your religious freedom, on the freedom of churches, the freedoms of synagogues, you know, whoever. They're an attack on you, and you don't want that.
Oh, boy.
It's an attack.
It's such an attack.
It is an attack on religious freedom.
Religious freedom to discriminate.
Yeah.
Hello.
Look,
you're trampling all over my rights by wanting rights.
It's exactly. Hello. You are going. I could lose some of my privilege if this goes through.
What?
And I don't. I won't hear of it.
Right. I cherish the right to discriminate against, to not hire you.
Yeah.
And the right to not rent my apartment to you.
How
dare you want equal treatment?
Right. Look. Oh, you want to be employed? Do you know how you do sex? It's disgusting to me.
I will not have it.
Nowhere
near my office.
I don't even like how I do sex, and I tell you what, I have a friend who is a Mormon, and he's a reasonable guy. He's pro LGBT.
I like this guy.
Yeah, I mean better than your average, right? And the LDS Church came out with a statement against the Equality Act, making the same claim that it was like infringes on religious freedom, doesn't protect religious freedom.
Right.
And he was like, and he posted a thing on Facebook that was like, why are they using this term religious freedom?
Right.
And I was like, and it was a thread where I could say, look, that phrase in this country for decades has only meant one of two things. Either protecting the right to discriminate, or privileging my religion over other religions.
Right.
That's all the phrase religious freedom means.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything to like, we don't use that phrase.
Right.
Unless we're saying, look, unless we're pointing out that they're using that phrase as a bludgeon.
Right.
Because that phrase is a weapon. It's not freedom that they're looking for.
Right. What did he say? Did he say anything?
He didn't say anything. Didn't disagree.
Right.
I think he's a thinker, and so I think he let that one just land, and he's going to see where he goes with it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
also a very interesting thing for the LDS Church to come out and say when Utah has basically this law on the books.
Yeah, Utah is actually one of the states in the union that's actually okay, that's already there.
And it happened with the LDS Church's blessing.
Yeah.
Because it's the only way that the damn thing would pass.
Yeah.
You have some stuff pulled up on your screen. I can't exactly see what it was, but I was looking at some stuff about this earlier today.
Yeah.
Where it showed percentage of population support of LGBTQ rights and protections.
Sure.
Basically, the three top states are New Hampshire, Vermont, and Utah.
Really?
All like 77, 78% of the population that supports this kind of law.
Interesting. Y'all
So-
gays have done some good work over here.
We've done some really good work in Utah.
Yeah.
In part due to the fact that Mormon families are generally big and loving.
Yeah.
And to see one of their own, to sort of, they don't accept this message or this idea that they need to somehow reject their kid.
Right. Some of them do.
Some of them do.
Some of them are very
Absolutely. It's not a perfect community.
and it's
on
what
this
leads
issue.
and it's what leads to a lot of teen suicide. Utah
And it
also
does.
has so when Utahns reject their kids, it's the most
reject hard.
it's the most devastating thing.
Yeah.
But you're right that
Because I
like-
think of also the role that family plays.
right.
Right. In
Well,
the
they've been
local
taught.
culture.
I mean, so Utah Mormon culture is all about family, 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 family.
Right.
They hit it so hard.
Right.
So when your family, when your family does reject you, it's devastating.
Right.
However, a lot of times the family actually rallies around. They they don't just like ignore the fact that one of their kids is gay.
Right.
They go, oh shit.
Right.
Well, you're not gonna infringe on my kids' rights,
Exactly.
and they become allies.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
And so I think the LDS Church is so fucking weird. First of all, on this issue,
They are
But
so fucking weird.
they're weird on like everything, but like this one, they're just being like stupid because they're totally out of step with their membership,
yeah,
like completely out of step.
which probably is why my friend was so confused.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck? What are you doing?
Because I mean, at 77% of the state, I mean, I get okay in Salt Lake City, it's not very Mormon. It's very open and accepting. And
Well, by
blah,
not
blah,
very
blah.
Mormon, you mean it's under 50%.
Well, so active Mormon population of Salt Lake City is like, I think it's below 20 at this point.
Is it?
Yeah.
Which I mean,
Like
For-
actual
for
still
Utah-
members of the church. Yeah, it's that just slightly under 50 now.
right?
But like
But for active
most members of the church in Salt Lake City don't attend.
right?
And those that do tend to be sort of a little bit more, I don't know what it is, but they're a little easier to get
Yeah.
along with than the ones from the suburbs.
Well, this is what urban living does.
Right.
It says, you encounter people different from yourself,
Right.
and you sort of learn to get along.
right, exactly. And so anyway, but I totally digress. So 77% of this state, even with sort of the open Salt Lake City population, right, that's accepting,
Right.
this that doesn't get us to 77%.
No.
Not even close. And so they've completely misread their church or their membership.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. I just want them to keep doing that.
Well, and they
Keep doing that, old guys.
They keep insisting on it. They keep thinking, well, the Lord... Yeah, basically they think that their prejudices, all of these 80-plus-year-old guys think that their prejudices are sanctioned by their God. Mm-hmm. And they have lost touch entirely. Or
Yeah.
rather, or
Or
don't
that they're gonna
want
be-
touch with their
Yeah.
members because they're important.
But they think that them leading and saying these things, that it's going to trickle down. It's somehow going to like convince some millennials,
Yeah.
right,
Right.
to become homophobes.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Right? Like that's just not going to happen.
That's
and
a lost
And I
cause.
applaud every single time they continue to alienate this
yeah.
next generation.
Oh,
like it's
totally.
just so amazing. I mean, they did a good job alienating Gen X, but then boy, they just perfected it with the millennials.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, do we have some folks to thank?
We do indeed, Dan.
Okay.
We have a new faithful listener.
Okay. Hello.
Hello, Corey.
Corey, hello. How are
Welcome to the fold.
you? You're one of our favorite people now. And the rest of you
And
are less favored.
no.
But Corey is not our most favorite person.
No. Our Lord and Savior, our current top donor,
The person to whom we kneel every night at our bedside and pray.
and say thank you, Jash.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jash.
Jash.
We thank you.
Dear Jash,
And
we thank thee for all thy many blessings.
Thank thee for my family, for my mom and dad and brother and sister.
We ask thee to bless this food.
Thank thee for this beautiful day.
Oh, God. Mormon praying is the worst.
Please bless
oh, my God.
all the missionaries.
The thee and thou shit is amazing. Can I just say, Mormons, like any religious person that switches to thee and thou when they start to do the religious stuff, that is fucking awesome.
It's pleasing on God's ears.
Yeah. Well, what's really funny is that they think they're being formal.
Right.
When they're actually using
the familiar.
The informal.
Right. That used to exist in English.
And then we got rid of it.
Went out of vogue.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Do Italians use the formal or the informal with God?
The informal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a cult. Yes.
Interesting.
They're using the correct form.
Right.
And in English, we used to use the familiar.
Right.
Right. And then as that fell away and it started to sound more formal to our ears, then it became this thing of you have to have this, like, formality with God.
Yeah.
Right. And so, like, learning, like, you know, to pray in Italian, I remember there was this moment of just confusion.
Right.
Of just having to rethink it all through that, oh no, in Italian, there's a familiarity with God.
Right. He's your
there's
buddy.
A closeness.
It's more the 80s sitcom version of prayer, which was always, hey, God, it's me, Wilbur. I need you now.
Right. So anyway, but what Josh, and Corey both did. And you can too.
And you
listener.
should too.
They went to thankgodimatheist.com.
Yeah.
And clicked on the support tab where
Yep.
they found a link to Patreon.
Yeah.
It's that easy, guys.
You guys, just stop the show right now and go do it. Just stop the show right now. Go to thankgodimatheist.com and find it and just go sign up. You can choose what level you want to give at. It's your choice. It's not expensive.
No, it's not. And if you do sign up, you get an ad-free version of the show.
Yes.
You get at certain levels. There's different, sort of thank yous that we give you. One of the great ones is the Frank and Dan Diaries.
Yeah,
you can gain access to that. That's
free. That's extra content.
Extra.
Nobody else
content.
gets but you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. We do appreciate it. Makes the show keep on going.
Yes, indeed.
And
you're the best.
Thanks. Dan.
Hello.
Old white men, Dan.
That's really the best sorts of people.
Oh, they're the best.
I think if history
we will both someday be old white men.
We, God willing.
Yeah.
I already reject me. I already
you already know you're irrelevant.
I already want me to shut up. But we won't because because old white man. There should be
the theme song for old white man.
There should be a theme song for old white man. But you know who is an old white man?
Who's that?
Rick Wiles.
Oh, he was probably always old.
Yeah.
He's always been white and a man. But
born old.
I predict my suspicion is he turned, I don't know, like 17. And was just old.
And just became old and grumpy and crotchety.
Yeah.
Christianity will do that to you.
Yeah.
He's been in Christian broadcasting since the 80s, and he's got a warning. He's got some shit to say. Let's just see what he has to say, and then you and I will try to survive talking about it.
Blah.
Israeli newspaper. Alabama's anti-abortion law. This is what Christian rule looks like in America. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. We Christians are standing up and pushing out Zionism. That's what we're doing. Zionism brought the slaughter of 65 million babies to America, and we're going to end it, and we are going to impose Christian rule in this country. Why are you imposing Judaism on me? Because that's exactly what's been done in America since 1973 with Roe v. Wade. Judaism was imposed on me, imposed on my Christian nation. And we became a Jewish nation that kills babies. That's against my Christian beliefs. Judaism became the law of the land in America. That's precisely what the courts have ruled. They have based their rulings on the Zohar, on the Talmud. And now we have Zionistic Talmudic law ruling this country and resulting in the death of millions of babies. And Ms. Cohen, we Christians are standing up and we're telling you we're done with Zionism. We're done with your values. We are going to impose Christian values in America again, whether you like it or not. You represent less than 2% of the population of this country. How does 2% rule the rest of the nation? I know how.
Fear.
You control the banks. You control the technology. You control the media.
You control the pews.
And then you buy out the churches. Move that money around, and those crooked preachers take your money. That's exactly how you do it.
So, wow, that's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
It's the thing is, for the longest time, he and his counterparts throughout the broadcasting Christian world were talking about Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah.
We're talking about how the Jew and they kept talking about Israel as being this great ally to the United States, and that's all that they would talk about.
Yeah.
And we would always say that was going to end because the whole plan was make nice with Israel and then eventually take it over when Jesus comes.
Right.
It's just you guys can hold this for me
Right.
until our boy comes, and then it's ours, right? Then
Because you're wrong.
you
are wrong. We'll play nice now, but you're wrong.
right.
And you know that, like, unless your knee bows, you are going to hell.
Yeah, no.
But thanks for your part of your Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah, that's cute and all.
Yeah. Fuck me.
These guys are.
This is shocking. This was shocking to me this morning.
It's a little shocking. It's so overt. Like, we know that he's an anti-Semite. Of course,
Right.
we knew that.
Right.
We know that Christians want to implement Christian rule in this country.
But you just never hear anybody come out and actually say it.
They don't say it. It
Because
makes
they
you
know
wonder.
how distasteful and how horrifying it is.
Yeah.
And they know how the rest of us are going to respond and go, "What? No." That's how emboldened they feel.
That's what we need to be worried about. This is a sign. This is a big billboard that says we've gone this far, you guys. We need to understand that, like,
They're
when
feeling safe in saying what they actually believe.
right when fascism starts to feel safe.
Yeah.
When this kind of behavior starts to feel okay.
Well, now they know where to congregate. Now they know who to rally around.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and now other people feel like, well, Rick Wiles is getting away with it. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to lead.
I think
we're going to
see more of this.
Yeah.
And I think that we should not let it go without alarming us. Like, this needs to be very alarming to us.
It's
Because
horrifying.
Because this when this becomes popular, when this becomes something that's acceptable in society, problems are coming our way. I mean, they're here. They're here. They're just talking about the abortion laws in Alabama.
Oh my God.
Which are obviously part. I mean, we've talked about this as part of a concerted effort, a nationwide effort to take down Roe v. Wade,
Right.
Which is the ruling that allowed abortion universally in this country.
Right.
I don't think abortion's going away in the United States of America, but they might be able to, like, make it
There's
a
gonna be
state
certain place. It'll go back to what it was,
which is
it'll be state by state
issue, and then half the country won't have access to safe abortion.
Exactly.
And they make it clear they're taught the way that they talk. They make it so clear that it's not about abortion. It's not about. It is about subjugation of women. It is about implementation of a Christian rule, and that's what it's about. And he's said it out loud, and didn't use words that are meant to cover the stuff.
Right.
Like there are words
There's no code words here.
The code word, and there are code words that the left or that the right has been using to cover anti-Semitism. They call it globalism instead of anti-Semitism.
Right.
Globalism has been this word that they use instead of Zionism, and it's always been about Jews.
Right.
But now they're just using the word Zionism.
Yeah.
And Zionism is, Zionism is about the establishment and protection of Israel.
Right.
Of a Jewish homeland.
Right.
That's what that is. But boy, they're taking it to mean that it's like.
Well, and he's like, you represent only 2% of this country, and blah blah blah.
Which is correct.
How does 2%, rule the rest of us or whatever? Because you control the banks and you control the technology,
right?
And you control. I can't remember everything that he said.
Yeah,
but it's like
pretty soon the protocols of the elders of Zion are going to start being quoted
holy
again.
Fuck.
Yeah,
it's like this.
It's all bullshit. It's this bullshit line that they've been saying to each other quietly, and now it's starting to be said out loud again. We cannot be okay with this.
Yeah.
It's pretty devastatingly scary. So there you go. That's where we're headed. This is Nazism in America. This is, and the thing is, abortion rights, like that's just a rights issue. That is a woman's rights issue.
Yeah.
And now he's couching it as a Jewish issue?
Unreal.
The Jews are taking over. The 2% of the Jews are controlling our country
so they can kill babies
because we have abortion rights in this country. That's you guys. This is not okay. The direction that this is going, that points to. This is the red flags are up.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's so long from a country that's going to go down the tubes now. Have fun, everybody. Thanks, international listeners.
Yeah, we might be cut off from you soon.
The United States of America doesn't exist anymore. Sorry,
not the one we like.
All right. I don't even know what more to say.
I think it's really just about playing it and saying, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
And taking a week to process.
Yeah.
Because, seriously, the morning before we record, I'm clicking on lots of links and watching shit, and most of it is either annoying or makes me laugh, or a little bit of both. And that one was just fucking terrifying to me.
Yeah, and lest you guys think that this abortion thing, it's not a Christian thing. Like, it was only in the 80s that the evangelical Christians, that the Baptists even cared about it.
Yeah.
They didn't. The only people that cared about it were the Catholics until the 1980s, and then it was a political tool. Yeah. It was a political wedge that they convinced the pastors to convince their congregants to care about. Wow. It's not a biblical thing. Look it up. Matter of fact, on How to Heretic, we talk this week's How to Heretic. I go into all of the biblical justifications for being anti-abortion. Hint: there aren't any.
Well,
matter of fact,
the Bible's fine with killing an infant up to 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months after they're fine with the Bible has countless examples of killing infants, killing women who are pregnant, killing all this stuff, and then. Far from being anti-abortion, the Bible in Numbers chapter 5 actually has a specific recipe for aborting a baby.
Oh, great.
So,
1 part coat hanger.
Given by God.
2 parts dark alley.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's more of a potion. It's a magic potion that the priest administers. But it's specifically, it's not pro-choice because it ain't the lady that's choosing it. Oh. It's just if the woman... is suspected to have been unfaithful to her husband,
Jesus Christ,
then
this is the thing where if she drinks it and dies, or
if she drinks it and she was unfaithful, she'll abort.
Oh, okay.
And if she drinks it and she was faithful, then she can have the baby.
Then it was actually the husband's baby.
But surely that at least is an indication that abortion is not wrong in God's eyes. If he's teaching you how to do it,
right,
it's okay.
Well, good.
Anyway, go ye forth and don't allow this stuff. Matter of fact, the number, we should, you know what? What was the phone number that Rick Wiles had up on his screen? I'm going to look it up because that's the number to call Congress people. And you should call your senators and Congress people.
I don't think it was Rick Wiles. It was Pat Robertson.
Oh, that was Pat. That's right.
That had the number.
Pat Robertson. I'm going to find the Pat Robertson, and I'm going to give you that number right now because I want our people calling.
202-224-3121. That's the Capitol Hill switchboard.
Yeah, so they'll connect you to your congressperson, to your senator.
Right, that's 202-224-3121.
Yeah, call that number. Rewind 30 seconds, have your pencil ready, write it down, call it, and talk to your people because there's bad shit a-brewing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you want to chime into this conversation, and I think you should, you can write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
That's right. That's 666, the devil's number, and then TGIA.
That's correct.
Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click on the like button.
And while on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we'll let you in. Also, you can find us on Reddit and Twitter at TGIAtheist.
That's right. Speaking of our social media, thank you so much to Mackenzie for all of her hard work on the Facebook page. You are awesome. And thanks to Danny and Amy for moderating the Members Only Lounge.
And a big thanks goes out to the Red Rock Hot Club, to Gordon Johnston for the use of their music.
Yep. And thank you guys for tuning in.
Bye!